The story of our beef begins just like the story of most any beef here in the United States. It begins out on pasture, where our cows grow up enjoying grass. For the first 9 to 10 months of their lives, the calves get nothing but grass and mama's milk. Once they're weaned off milk, it's nothing but grass until they reach the finishing stage. Finishing stage typically lasts 90 to 120 days.
So when it's time for our steers to start the finishing process, they come home to this pasture right behind me. So it's a little bit smaller pasture than what they've been on the rest of their life, but they're still out here on grass. And this time of year, it's not really as green and great looking as we'd like because it's February, and unfortunately we're in February of a really bad drought, but generally it's going to look, and in the summertime it's going to look a lot more lush and nicer than this. So this time of year, in addition to the pasture behind me that these steers get to enjoy, they also get supplemented with hay and corn. Hay, for those of you guys that aren't familiar, hay is basically a preserved pasture product. So in the summers, our pastures that have excess forage, we can go ahead and cut hay off of those, or sometimes we have fields that will grow specifically for the hay. And essentially what we do is basically dehydrate it and package it, kind of like if you were going to make some dried fruit and keep it to enjoy those peaches and nectarines and things in the winter. It's essentially what hay is for us. So this is my corn trailer, and this is the corn that our steers get. So this is rolled corn as opposed to whole corn, and this is grain corn. So grain corn is just a slightly different grade of corn than what you would get in the grocery store, and as you can see, it's not grown for eating off the ear. It's really more, well, it's grown for livestock, and it's actually rolled and flattened. So you can see there's some of these bigger chunks that are basically like what a kernel would have been, only flattened. Okay. Often I get questions about our corn and where corn comes from, if it's organic or not. And the first thing is that it is not organic. If we were to buy organic corn or barley even, it would be rather expensive. Typically it's about twice the cost of conventionally grown corn, and so for us we would have to raise our prices to our customers by quite a bit to be able to absorb that price increase. And it's a lot harder to get, actually. We don't have a lot of, in fact much, organic corn grown near where we live, and so for us some of this corn at least is grown, and the barley of course too, is grown fairly local to this area, and we can buy it through a local mill who does the rolling here in our county and just a few miles from our home. So while
Once the steers are finished, they head just a few miles down the road to the USDA-inspected processing facility that we're lucky enough to have in our own backyard. While at the butcher, our beef is actually dry aged for about 21 to 28 days, and this is part of what gives our beef such amazing flavor. When the beef arrives to your door, it's frozen and ready to go for you. The diversity of cuts that you get will depend on the quantity of beef that you've ordered. Quarters are typically 2 boxes, as you can see here, and a half of beef is usually going to be more like 4 of those boxes, so double what you see in that photo. You'll get a wide variety of cuts, and this is what people start to really enjoy about buying their beef in bulk. You'll get cuts you've never used before, things like clawed tenders and petite tenders, and maybe some different types of butcher steaks, and things that you can get a little bit creative as you start cooking. And while everybody's favorite is the steaks, remember that you only get so many steaks per beef animal. From start to finish, this is about a 19 to 20 month process, so get your orders in early.